Good morning, guys. Happy Friday, everybody. How are we all doing? I'm Dan from Trading with Dan. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, we shall go straight over to those Bitcoin 4-hour charts. Now here we have it. We are fully and formally above this resistance area, above the 58,500. Yeah, pretty cleanly above it. We have touched into the 60,000s. We have touched that 60k handle for Bitcoin once again. So as you guys may have noticed, I've had to change the video title to Bullish finally. I don't particularly like changing it like on the first day that we're above, unless obviously we've like catapulted thousands of dollars higher, and even at time of recording video we're like $600 or so higher, so that is obviously a tiny amount. It is a smidge, but at the end of the day the trend is still looking good. I've changed it anyway. Even if we do come back below, the higher time frame trends are still up. You would expect we are going to break back above and continue upside. So here we have it, bullish trend. But yeah, at the moment, if we actually if we go back to the previous times we were above here, just extend this horizontal along just so that we can kind of see where we are. You can pretty much see that is where we've wicked up to at present, literally to the dot. So yeah, we are just battling with these final minor areas of resistance. Just move this one down a tiny bit as well. Yeah, these few areas, and then ultimately onwards and upwards will be the name of the game. We'll be in a wet and wild price discovery. We'll be FOMO the longs in, FOMO the breakout traders, get everybody over leveraged long, slammers back down. Obviously where we get slammed down to depends where we get slammed down from. So like if we are up towards 68,000, I mean a nice move down to 58,000 would not be untowards. But yeah, we are going to get in a period of volatility, and then we potentially will trade a major, like I say major, but we'll trade for potentially a couple of weeks sideways within a larger range. I mean, ideally, looking at it, could it be the wider range be this 68,000 to 58,000? It very much could be some battling within this range before catapulting upwards. I don't particularly want to see us as just literally just catapult straight upwards, because we know that sort of price action is not sustainable. Then we get slammed down, and then ultimately we end up having a topping formation on the macro, and then we just have to play out some downside. And the longer we can prolong it for, the more we can consolidate at high prices, the more the crypto market can mature, the more people can get involved, the more distributed the bitcoins can get, the better. And that all happens with happens with less parabolic price action, basically. So yeah, that could be what we're looking at. We could be looking at establishing a sideways range. I mean, basically once you break out above here, above this 58,500, which obviously we currently are, establish price above, maybe move up, back test it, get supported. We then look to put in a high, which would almost certainly be a new all-time high for Bitcoin, and then we potentially consolidate around that before then making moves higher. Let's have a look firstly at the stock market, just seen as that's what I had on my charts. Stock market is clearly looking better here. There is it's just earnings season, and there's just the banks have been reporting relatively good earnings to what was expected anyway. Loan growth on the whole is down, which is basically the main driver for banks. But I mean, I guess they're looking at rising yields and steepening yield curves as obviously basically the main source of income for banks. Obviously, also lots of murders and executions going on. Or mergers and acquisitions going on, which obviously generate high fees for banks as well, so they're doing well off that as well. But anyway, nonetheless, they are buoying the market to the upside at present. Also, Nascoin doing okay here. on looking better here on the basis that we may have put in the high for these yields on bonds, but maybe, obviously that is a maybe. I personally think we have, but not with like a 80-90% degree of conviction. Maybe about a 65, 70, 75 percent degree of conviction that we will be potentially reversing down from here. And getting back down again. It's just a situation of, whilst the Fed was ignoring inflation, obviously whilst it was ignoring inflation, the bond yields are then going to try and force the Fed's hand, and then once the Fed hand is forced, when the Fed's hand is forced, then basically they're just going to destroy growth, and then blow a few things up, and then basically have to yields, and then the bond yields are then going to go back down. And I feel like we're now front running that downward part, which again is also bearish for the dollar. I know that obviously the dollar is a difficult one. First and foremost, it's relative to other countries' currencies, but also in bad economic environments globally, you do obviously expect the dollar to rally. But yeah, obviously if we are in an environment where the Fed is doing lots of wild stuff, then yeah, obviously this can come down. And don't forget, the inflation is a lot higher in the US than it is in other countries in the world. It is higher than it is in Europe. Yeah, just be aware of that. So what I'm saying is basically, I think the dollar will come down in that environment. In the environment that is probably going to ensue. And yeah, as we can see, the dollar is looking like it is breaking down from here. Obviously with 10-year bond yields, which, as we have noted, have been moving in pretty much lockstep for a while. Let's have a look at some more crypto stuff. Obviously, Ethereum, Satoshi pairing had a nice pump up whilst Bitcoin was consolidating sideways, but clearly once Bitcoin gets moving, Ethereum can't keep up. This chart, this just looks like another lower high. It is struggling to catch a break, but it does kind of realistically need to put a bottom in here. I mean, we do know it's Bitcoin ETF news. So that is ultimately driving Bitcoin. Obviously, also we know Bitcoin is the first mover. Once we do get the big moves, Bitcoin is the most liquid. It's the one that the bigger participants will play in, and then obviously altcoins then basically feed from the scraps after Bitcoin has eaten. So yeah, but yeah, ultimately this will make a nice move upwards. But again, it's always just a case of where it makes that move up from. It could be from here. We could be putting a bottom in here, but it kind of depends what Bitcoin does and how aggressively it does it. So yeah, keep an eye on that. The Ethereum USD pairing, as you can see, did break nicely above this horizontal, did accelerate, did run into a 4-hour-9. Maybe it'll come and back test our old resistance, this level as new support. Maybe it will just continue upwards once Bitcoin calms down a bit, obviously in the dollar value. But yeah, obviously it is looking good. It is looking good for moves up to basically all-time highs, up to around 4,500. So yeah, what else do you want to look at? Here? That is pretty much all of that looked at. Let's now have a look at the stochastics. The medium, I mean, we do know that it was looking a bit disjointed yesterday. It wasn't necessarily clear. I mean, that's another reason why I'm not too happy about having to change the video to bullish. But hey, even if we do come back below, we can still count it as bullish. Then we'll just change it to neutral if we come like below, like say 53,000 or something. But yeah, for our pointing up for what it's worth. Obviously on macro moves it's not necessarily the most important thing. 10 hour moving up nicely, so we have got support from the 10 hour. 12 hour is still actually coming down even in the face of this move. So 10 hour still weighing in on price action. Daily looking to turn back down from a high level. Will weigh on price action. 2-day getting pretty extended here. 3-day obviously looking brilliant. 5-day looking brilliant. Weekly is potentially going to weigh on us as well. Well, then bi-weekly looking great. And monthly is going to turn up here, as we can see. Monthly will turn up, which will be great to see that turned up. So I mean, yeah, like I'm saying, maybe we do basically grind our way up through here. Maybe we don't catapult our way in up in a fashion people will expect. Maybe we climb a wall of worry. Once potentially we get above, say, 50, 63, 64, maybe we do get a nice acceleration up towards 68, potentially higher, and then we do put in a top, establish the top of the range, and then pretty much trade sideways between that and 58,000 for a period. That would be my guess. For what it's worth, my crystal ball prediction. So yeah, we shall see how it goes. Obviously, if we do move back below 58, and certainly if we move back below, well, I say certainly, not 55, but if we move back below this 52, 53, then we are going to find ourselves back in this range here, and it is going to start to, there will be a lot of fuel to the downside. A lot of people have bought this up with trailing stops that haven't been hit because we've never really pulled back much, and added to positions as you should do. That's how you should trade, average onside. So there is substantial liquidity to be found to the downside if the market can get pushed in that way. But the market is not particularly over leveraged at the moment. I feel like we are a stone's throw from all-time highs where we can start to then really get the market over leveraged, pump us up maybe even to 70Ks, and then start to go on a nice liquidity hunt. On a nice liquidity hunt to the downside and get some of those leverage trading fees racked up, liquidation fees racked up. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, happy Friday everybody. Hope you guys will have a great weekend planned. Yeah, remember, this is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I shall speak to you guys soon.